Again, running behind. Like always. But. Ding, ding. Did this now? I gotta change you out too? Jesus, what kind of fucking Funko Pop I got going on here? Jesus. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Let's go. It might be a new look for me. Who knows? Yeah, it's definitely a new look. Here we go. Oh, I gotta clear all this fucking shit out. God damn it. That's probably gonna be my next purchase. Some kind of better lighting system in here. All right, here we go.
Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This Is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
Well, I'm alive. I'm alive. Still. Miraculous, right? I'm alive. I'm alive. I made it a whole week. No problems. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's debatable still. It's up in the air. The jury's out. Isn't that what they say? But I'm still alive. Still trucking along. Still doing my thing after my little scare last week. You know, when people... Here we go. Here he goes. Where's he going with this? Sometimes when people like face death in the face, would that be a face off? I guess, I don't know. But sometimes when people stare at death in the face and they come back and, you know, my life's changed. I'm never going to do this anymore. I'm never going to do that anymore, or something like that. I was not on death's door. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me type deal. And, I didn't know, I knew I was okay, but I just didn't know why I was feeling this way. If you missed last week's show, I went to the ER room. And a lot of things have happened here in North Carolina through our health insurance and stuff that kind of made me go, huh, I guess they do care about me here. My insurance people care about me. And I'll dive into that here in a little bit later, because I got phone calls, I got, text messages, I got all this other stuff. And I want to complain about some of you people out there too as well. So no one's getting away from this show. I got a whole bunch of shit to say to all of you. Get ready to lose some friends and make some new ones. I don't know. I've been trying to, speaking of I'm alive, we're going to be going live on Friday. Now, we broadcast every Friday about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know the time changes and stuff. I'm shooting for 3 p.m. There's no way of getting around it. By the time I go out and do all my errands in the morning and stuff, and get my dad's groceries and do like little odds and end errands. Can you stop here? Can you drop this off at UPS? Can you make sure that get this and that? By the time I get back and prepare everything, I do a little bit meal prep and stuff when I get back on Friday, because I got new food on the table. I'm like, okay, I need to divvy all this up and split the packs of chicken out and make my oats, my mason jar oats for breakfast. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot this and that. By the time I get all that done, everything put away, and then come up to the studio and sit down and map out what I'm going to do for this 50 show. If you're watching us here on the YouTube channel, there's the breakdown of today's show. Oh yeah, there's a lot of writing on there. It's 3:00. There's no way to get around it. I mean, I literally came up here and sat at 2:15, and I'm like going, okay, good, I'm going to be on time. And then I'm like, fuck, the camera's not working. This is not right. And I'm like going, and we got brand new cameras here in the studio. Where I was getting at is we're going to be going live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my goal. That's, you have to have a goal. The show's got to progress. It's got to be newer. It's got to be, innovative, not innovative, like I'm splitting the wheel again. Isn't that what the kids say? But I have to have some kind of stabilization here, and that's one of the things I need to do. This is my goal for 2026 with this 50 show. Not because of what happened to me in the ER, but I had a lot of time to sit there and think and go, if you're not going forward, what do they say? You're going backwards. So we're going to go live with now that I've got the new computer set up and it can handle a live feed, it can do all this stuff, it can handle all the camera angles. I'm not too happy with the lighting system now that I've got all these new camera angles. I might have to buy a new lighting system and yada 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 yada. I digress. But that's what we're going to do. And the way you see that is go over to YouTube, search This Is 50. You'll see the logo that we have there. Make sure you follow us over there because I will go live. I do a couple other shows here out of this studio. We went live on one of them for like a segment or two just to see if it would, it would keep. And it did okay. So there's a little bit more tweaking and stuff to do. So bear with me. And I'm still running 4 miles a day. I say running. I always say, it's not running. Let me break it down to you for those of you who are new to the show. This is 50. This is I created this show as my mental health exchange. If you cannot figure it out by now, there's a lot of mental health that I need to get out on the table. So I created this show for me. At the time I was doing it with another gentleman. He had to bounce out. He's got his own stuff going on. So the show just kind of went on. I do this strictly for me. There's a lot of people out there that have emailed me and texted me and gone on Facebook and say, hey, man, we appreciate what you're doing. Sorry to hear about this and, yada, yada, yada. It helps me. I appreciate this. The little videos and stuff. I get comments all the time on that. So it's helping someone out there. I'm glad because this helps me a lot to sit here in front of this microphone and staring at myself on the screen in front of me and as I'm pointing at it here on the YouTube channel. So I do this for me. Voltaren. No, not Voltaren. Voltaren. Is it Voltaren? I don't know what it is. It's a silver tube with orange and like magenta, indigo writing on it. So I've been running my 4 miles still. And what's happened now, from the sciatic nerve on the back side of my body, because I've lost a little bit of weight, so there's not as much, pressure on that nerve. What's happening now is my years of running up and down the parquet floor playing basketball through my schooling days. My right leg behind the backside. You got your kneecap. What is it? What do they call it? The armpit? Your knee armpit, your leg pit behind the kneecap. It's starting to hurt. It's starting the tendons are getting a little because I'm pushing myself. And I'm like, and I come home and I'm like, oh man, it's hurting. Voltaren, whatever it is, it's called. It's a cream. It's not Bengay. It comes in like a big, almost like an oversized toothpaste tube. And if you're out there, people, the owners of Voltaren, and if you sponsor the show, by all means, I will get that right. But I swear by this stuff. My knee was getting really, really bad to the point where, if you're watching this here on the YouTube channel, my knee, I can kick it out, straight out, no problem. Straight up, down, up, down, up, down. It's when it bends to the, here's a perfect example. When it bends to the right or bends to the left, that little turn, that little pinch hits the nerves, pinch into the inside. So essentially when I lay on my side in bed, your leg naturally will, if you don't put a pillow between it, it will have that bend to it. That's what's killing me. So my wife has this Voltaren. And she's like, you should try this, try that, try that. She got me like lidocaine patches and icy hot. It just wasn't working. So I put the Voltaren on my knee. And she goes, don't forget, you don't touch it with your hands. And the only reason why she said that is because we have cats here. And if I have it on my hands, it could transfer to them and it could injure them some way or another, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to prove the theory wrong. But when she says, don't touch the cats, I'm not touching the cats. So I put a latex glove on and I rub it on my knee. And sure enough, I've been doing it for the last 3 nights. I get about 80% more sleep before, it wears off, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, whatever it is. But holy shit. But I put it on at like 10 o'clock in the morning after my run, and it wears off that late in the evening, the next morning. I'm like, holy shit. I said, this is all like hocus pocus type stuff. No, it works good. But you have to be careful with it. You can't take like any kind of Advil. You can't take any Tylenol. You have to be careful what kind of medications on. When they say be careful what medications you're on, if you're going to put this on your knee, you're like, oh, well, this might be what I need. And it literally was it's helping me sleep a lot more better. More better. All right, I will take a quick little break. On my run, don't get old, people. Don't get old, because I witnessed firsthand several times of old people trying to just get around. And I'll tell you what happened there when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back. So it's tax season. I know everyone's grumbling. And, let me close that out. My wife relies on me to keep track of everything that I do, because this is my full-time job. I have to keep track of all the expenses, money coming in, like a business would, because it is a business that I run. So for the last 10, 11 years or whatever, I always just print out every single transaction I've ever made during that year. And it's real easy. You got your own business account. You just use your business card for business account stuff. So you just sit there and you look at, all right, this month I had like 13 transactions. That's a service fee. That's I needed that. Entertainment. A lot of entertainment fees on there, if you know what I mean. Meals and stuff and so on and so forth. So I would sit there and physically, painstakingly print all this out, and I go through and separate everything, how much what it is, and I put it in a spreadsheet, and I hand it over to my wife. She does her thing, and then it all goes to a CPA. And they basically go, no, you can't write off 15 cases of beer because you had a Halloween bash at your party or at your place. Yeah, but it was a business meeting. It was for the employees. Travis, you only have 4 employees. Why is there 250 people at your place? You don't know how many employees I got. It was a party. It was a promotion. That's what it was. Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. Oh, by all means, 15 cases of beer, write that right off type deal. So now, as I told you last week, my wife is getting into getting her toes wet as far as diving into the ChatGPT, and I've been doing it heavily, relying on it heavily to help me with my workload, and it's done a great job. I pay for the premium plan, of course, write that off too. And so I can get it to do what I want it to do. I'm learning the techniques over the last year and a half. So I've heard about people just putting in articles or things into ChatGPT and telling it to find certain things or, do a synopsis or whatever on whatever article that they spit in that thing. And I go, okay, I'll take advantage of that. Did it a couple times. I'm like, you know what? It works great. So I downloaded every month of stuff I spent on my checking account, like PDF files, and all my credit card statements and savings. Money just goes into savings. Nothing comes out of saving. That's how savings works. That's why it's called savings, not now and then savings. And when it builds, and so I'm not getting my finances, but when it builds enough, then you roll that over into a whatever retirement plan that you got at the end of the month. So I told ChatGPT, here's all my purchases and stuff that I've used on my debit card for the business. Here's all my purchases and stuff I put on my credit card for 2025. Split everything up, categorize it, and tell me, where I'm at. Within less than 5 minutes, it had a complete spreadsheet. Here's what you spent. Here's what's going on. This is what you bought. This is, stuff for your thing. And here's the what do they call it? If you buy something and then the depreciation of something, you bought this new computer. So this new computer, of course, will be on next year's taxes. But this is the depreciation on your old computer. You can only do it for like 5 years. And it's giving me the whole breakdown, the whole thing. And it literally said, like, it pulled me over and said, all right, Travis, all the cases of beer and, the lunches with your dad and stuff, basically it said, how do you want me to handle that? Because do you want me to handle those as, what do they call it? Like business expenses as far as entertainment or, like a per diem if I was on. I said, I don't know. What should I do? And ChatGPT, I'm going to call him Chet. I've been calling him Chet for a while, so Chet is my new friend. Chet goes, well, do you want me to have tighter restrictions on the way the money goes out? Or do you want me to have looser restrictions? So it'll, feel better for the CPA and I can kind of disguise it a little bit. I love that. Chet said, do you want me to disguise it a little bit? So, you're not spending money, just willy-nilly. I said, make it loose, disguise it, do it. So it goes back through, another 5 minutes later, it comes back out, and it says, yeah, everything looks good. You're in a great position for your, small business that you have. And it said, honestly, I don't feel, here we go, it's taking over the world, AI. It says, I don't feel that I could, in good belief, write off like grocery purchases and stuff like that. Because, sometimes I forget my actual debit card, and I'll just put it on the company card, buying groceries for the week. I said, yeah, I understand that. So like those charges, I'm going to have to, eat them, or that's part of the job of doing whatever. So I told my wife all this. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because my wife and I, we have, our house here, and we have horses, and there's a lot of money going out for these horses, and there's a lot of money not coming in, but money's coming in, our normal paychecks and whatnot, but there's a lot of money going out, whether it be my wife and I going out to dinner, or buying groceries, or the vet bill, or, buying hay, or buying food, and, all the other stuff. So I told my wife this, and I said, instead of you sitting down, and we keep every single fucking receipt, and my wife will take all weekend long to write down receipts, and she's got a big pile, about this tall, and she's like, oh, I'll write this off, this and this and this. I told her about it, and she's like going, I think I'll do that too. I want to try it to see how it spits out compared to what I think in my mind that we spent on stuff. I said, awesome. She's for it. She's like, what do I have to do? I said, go to your account, and every, January 2025, print that PDF file out. February, 2025, print that PDF file for your statements. Put it all in a file, give it to me. I'll shoot it into ChatGPT, and we can sit down and go, okay, separate this based on, and you have to tell it. You have to give it parameters. So it's not going to do it by yourself. You have to tell it. We have horses. We have this. We have agriculture. We have this. This is our home. This is our agriculture, because we do have an LLC. Split all this up to make it make sense. So I'll let you know what happens. She wants to do it. She's got some horse shows and stuff going on this weekend. So there you have it. Don't get old, people. Don't get old. The reason why I say that, they always say that. You're like, I'm trying not to get old. So on my 4-mile run, my jaunt, the street, just to recap so you guys are not paying attention in the back of the room, the street that I run on is a half-mile down, cul-de-sac, half-mile back up. I do 4 laps. On this street, one side of the street is all crops. Someone owns it, someone leases it, someone rents it out. They put corn out there, they put soybeans out there, they rotate it. One side of the whole entire street is nothing but crops, okay? The opposite side of the street are houses. On this street, this half-mile down, half-mile back up, on this street are only 6 houses. Good-sized lots, very, very nice houses. There's a lot of boundaries and stuff that they have to... or qualifications to build a house on this street. It has to be, I think no less than 2,300 square feet. It can be no less than sitting on whatever, I think 2.5 acres or something like that. Anyways, it's a lot of stipulations to build on that. And they're very nice houses. 6 of them. So over the years of me running, I've met just about everyone on the street. Actually, I have met everyone on the street. Let's put it that way. I met everyone on the street. So I know who's there. I know who's there. I know who's there, on down the road. There's a couple. They're the fourth house in. They're probably mid-60s. Her mother lives in that house. Okay? So the mother must be anywhere from, let's say, hopefully, if she's 60, hopefully 80s, maybe pushing 90 type deal. So as I'm running up and down the street, like I'm a bad person, I start seeing a couple cars pull into the driveway. And I go, oh, must be having a party. I see a couple get out of one of the cars. if the Grim Reaper, let me say that again. If the Grim Reaper wasn't sitting there in the trees laughing, I would have think that, something else is going on. But I guess it was her mom's birthday. The reason why I say that is because the people getting out of the cars were like, but aware enough to drive. Now, the reason why I say don't get old, 3 times, they probably had like 15 cars there. I saw like the first 3 pull in. Then I saw one car pull into one of the other houses further up on the street. And this old couple gets out, and I can tell that they're supposed to be at the party 2 houses over because they had the little gift bag. And they walk up to the door, ding dong, I'm here for, Ruthie's birthday party. And they're like, no, you got the wrong house. It's 2 houses down. Oh my God, I feel so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Charlie, get back in the car. So Charlie gets back in the car and he backs out, trying not to fall off the fucking road, drives 2 houses up, and then parks. Then I saw another lady. She drives down the cul-de-sac, goes into the second house on the street, rings the doorbell, and that's where Angie and Nathan live, our new neighbors. Hey, Travis, I'll make you a peanut butter crumb cake, all that stuff. Pulls in, Angie comes out, she's like, no. And I can see her pointing, down the street. So this old lady gets out of her car, or gets back in her car, backs up, almost hits me, by the way. I tried to avoid her, but there was no way around it. She was determined to knock me down. Turns around, goes down the street. This happened 3 times. The reason why I bring this up, and I say don't get old, what were the directions that these people were given? Can you imagine the invite? Hey, it's my mother's 85th birthday. We'd love for all all her friends to come to this party. We are at, 1234 Main Street or whatever, cul-de-sac. We're the 6th house in. They still couldn't get it right. They were pulling in driveways left and right. They were backing up and pulling in. And I'm like, Jesus, there's 6 houses on the street. They're not hidden. They're all in broad daylight. You can literally stand in one driveway, take a football if you're, got a good football arm, throw the football, and it hit the other driveway. There's no trees blocking. There's no houses are hidden. There's no long, extravagant driveway or anything. They couldn't get it right. And I'm like going, Jesus Christ, when this party lets out, get off the roads, people. Speaking of getting older, we lost a radio veteran, radio legend. I'm going to throw it out there because in Florida, he was a legend. When they say don't meet your heroes, don't meet your heroes. And I'll dive into what happened down in Florida. Lost a radio guy, and I'll tell you my stories about him when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back. I'll get into the phone calls because we're going to do it together. You and I. We are all going to do it together. I'll get into the phone calls that I got from Atrium Health. Yeah, we're going to do it together. We're going to all be friends. Sound good? Everyone's shaking their head. No, we don't want to do that. No, we will. Because it was quite impressive. I've never had this happen before, but then again, I've never been into an emergency room before, and I'll dive into what was said, what happened, and the phone calls here. There's your teaser. Fuck you, Food Lion. Yes. Fuck you, Marshville Food Line. Now, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town called Marshville. We have about 2,500 people in Marshville. I was talking to my black lady friend at Walmart today, and she said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I said, see you later. She's like, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I said, no, I only come in here on Friday. She's like, yeah, there's another couple. I said, listen, hon, I drive all the way from Marshville to come to your Walmart because there's nothing between us and here, between where I live and here. She's like, yeah, there's a Wendy's and a Bojangles and a Food Line. I go, fuck Food Line. She's like, yeah, fuck them. She's on the clock. So she's kind of, yeah, fuck them. I don't want to move out there. But rent's cheap. I go, yeah, come on out. We'll have you. When I say fuck you, Food Line, my wife, for the last, 5 years, I'm the one that does like the grocery shopping and stuff. So because we had the whole incident with the emergency room and stuff on Friday, I'm like, babe, it's Saturday. We have to go grocery shop. We have to do something, to get food and stuff for the house or we're all going to die. So we walk into take that back. We walk into the Food Line and my wife, we were going to make, for the Super Bowl, sure. That's the first thing we need, right? We were going to make hot Italian subs. So she wanted to get like pepperoni and ham and salami and all that stuff. And normally they'll have it like pre-cut and stuff. But there was a couple things that she's like, no, I want to get fresh cut. I want to get fresh, whatever. So I look behind the counter. Now this Food Line had these two old ladies and they were in the middle of doing something, cleaning something, which they should be doing. The deli department should always be clean, if you're wiping down something. Or the boss, they got a shipment or something in. They're moving something around. They're not paying attention to us. Because every time I'd stand there, my wife's looking at like the stuff in the meat case, and I'm like looking at them trying to get their attention, and I could see them all like side-eyed at me and trying to look for, oh God, do you need help, honey? Now, picture the worst looking, ugliest, disgusting lunchroom ladies that you've ever seen in your whole entire life. That's who's working behind the counter at this Food Line. Missing bottom teeth. One of them has like a fake eye. They got their hair nets on, but their hair is just so thin and stuff that it's not really anything. It's just like this hair sponge looking thing on their head. And my wife, being very, very nice, what do they say? A pound of sugar gets you all the thing in the world. I don't know. I'm making shit up here. She was being sweet. She's like, yes, ma'am, I would like, a pound of salami, Genoa salami. How'd you like that cut, honey? Toothless wonder. My wife goes, thin. No, and they have it now where they have the numbers on the front. This is what 1 looks like. This is what 2 looks like. This is what 3 looks like. No, and what number on the slicer on the front of the thing there, honey, do you want? My wife goes, 1. So the lady's like, all right. She flips the thing over and she's got to unwrap the thing. And, it's a brand new one. So she's already pissing and moaning that she's got to cut open this, Genoa salami package. And I can hear her. I'm listening. I'm bending my ear as I'm looking at all the stuff in the deli case and the potato salad and all this other stuff for the Super Bowl. And I go, this is not going to go well. I know this is not going to go well. So my wife, standing there patiently, as cute as can be. The lady takes zook, holds it up and says, is this thin enough for you? If you're watching this here on the camera, I got to switch so I can see myself here. So I know what I'm doing, what camera I'm doing it to. She holds it up. My wife looks at it and goes, yeah, that's perfect. So the lady goes, how much did you need, darling? Half a pound. Wraps it up. Anything else? Yeah, I'd like a ham. Do you have the boiled ham? Yeah. How would you like it? Same way. She's like, lunchroom lady takes a slice of it, holds it up. Is this what you want? Is this thin enough for you? My wife goes, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Okay. All right. Anything else? No, that's it. Thank you very much. All right, darling, you have a blessed day. That's what they do in North Carolina. You have a blessed day. My wife gets home and starts making the Italian subs and goes, those motherfuckers. She didn't say that. I'm just, so you can get the tone of her voice. She didn't say that word. She said, isn't this something? I said, what? She's like, this is the one that, she pulls it out of the package. This is the one that she showed me. And I said, okay. She's like, look at these. They're 3 times as thick. She didn't want to cut this stuff. I was, causing her problems and stuff. So she leaned into the machine and started slicing them nice and thick. Shunk, shunk. She got 4 slices. All right, there's your half pound. Instead of having 16 mini slices, thin slices, she's got 7 slices that are, size of 2 quarters stacked on top of each other. And she's like, and look at the ham. My wife, look at the ham. Yeah. This is the one that she showed me. This is the ham I got. And it's like 2 dimes stacked on top of each other. And she wanted, something thin. She's like, Food Lion. I said, babe, I know. Food Lion. They suck. They suck. At least the one out by us or around this area. I know there's Food Lions that are like fancy. Oh, I always go to Food Lion. No, they're EBT stealers. That's what they are. So a long time ago, in a land far, far away, I used to live in... Why is this not working? There we go. I got time for this. I used to live in Florida, Orlando, Florida. I did work for and or was on several different radio stations during the mid-90s. Things come around, you get bounced around, you don't have a job anymore, your contract runs out, and then, so on and so forth. And then the evolution of the internet comes around, and then, podcasting comes around. And when we came across this job, I was working for a rock station that was online, which was good. It was fun. So in the process of working for this rock station, I met a gentleman by the name of Jeff Duncan. Now, you might know him as Doc Holliday. And I remember him, he was the guy in the 80s on the pop stations in the Orlando area that, it was the Doc and Johnny show. And then, he got fired. Doc got fired. I don't know. Well, I can understand why he got fired later on. And he left. Johnny still goes on. He's still doing shows today. He's Johnny's House and stuff. Doc got fired. And he was a voice. He's got a very, hey, how you doing? Coming up next, and he's very, 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 very political. He got moved over to a country station on a rival company. Worked there for several years and got fired from that. So he was out of a job. This is what I found out later after joining the rock station. So when I went up to the program director, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, by the way, this is, Jeff Duncan. And I go, hey, how you doing? And he said something to me. Yeah, hey, how you doing? And I go, hey, I know your voice. You're Doc Holliday from the Doc and Johnny show. Yeah. I said, I live in, Whatchahooseville. He's like, hi, I'm right down the road. I'm like, all right, cool. We can hang out. So we started hanging out. He had the afternoon's drive time slot on the rock station. I had the overnights, metal show or whatever. But we hung out during the day. We'd drink beer and we'd, do all this stuff. I had a small studio set up where I lived. And he would come over and we'd sit there and do like bits and stuff like that. And the more and more I learned about him, the more and more I was like going, God almighty, you're a fucking mess, man. So he got a job on some AM station, and I'm like, we became really good friends. the two of us. You know, we'd sit there and we'd hang out. He came over for Thanksgiving. We'd go out and drink beer. We'd, hang out and stuff. And, come to find out, he was kind of using me because he really didn't have a job and I had a job and, there's all this other stuff. There was a lot of background and stuff. So he got hired at this radio station doing sports. And he's like going, hey, I have no imaging. Can you do imaging for me? And in the radio business, imaging is basically the way a certain feel of a radio station network is. So when you hear someone go, coming up next, it's the same voice, it's the same feel for a radio station. There's always a main voice that you hear all the time on that station. He wanted my voice to do all the imaging for a show, and I ended up doing the imaging for the whole entire station. So I said, okay, hey, that's cool. Appreciate, the bits of beef that you're throwing on the ground for me, but I need something full time. I can do a recording and stuff. I get paid for that recording, but I need something full time. Can you get me on? Yeah, I'll get you on the radio station. Blah, blah, blah. Well, he ended up getting fired from that job. And then he went off, and I said, man, what happened? He goes, hey, because I was the imaging guy, I owned all, because I was smart, I owned all of his .coms, I owned all the social networks, I owned all that because I knew him the backside of my pocket. I was like going, this guy's going to fucking leave me high and dry. He's already done it like 2-3 times already before on another radio station. So he comes up to me, he's like, hey, I need my .com or whatever. I said, oh, okay. He goes, how much do you want for it? So I told him some ridiculous number. I think it was $150,000 or somewhere around there. He goes, you're fucking kidding, right? And I go, no. I said, your name alone in this Orlando area is worth, to me, $150,000. Because you've shortchanged me on all this other stuff. Now, people are going, oh, Travis, you should do this. Fuck you. You don't know the radio industry. Fuck you. I'm telling you what's going on. Well, that's fucking bullshit. I ain't got that kind of money. I'm like going, well, then you ain't got the .coms. You don't have this. He goes, well, I'm getting ready to start another podcast and stuff, and I'd like you to be on it. I said, nope, not doing it. So he lasted, 3 years or 4 years. It went downhill. He had no production value. He teamed up with some girl he was dating. Teamed up with some girl he was dating only because she had a house and she would let him live there. And I think they were only dating because he needed a place to live, and she was like, oh my God, I'm dating, Doc Holliday and stuff from the whatever. And she could put that on her resume. She was a peach. Anyways, he got cancer and died. Dead. Now, I say he just got, like he walked outside and goes, oh, I'm dead. He was battling something for a long, long time. And he went from being a little skinny guy doing cocaine on the Double Dare show, being an announcer on that, to being this Jabba the Hutt. You ever seen Chet from Weird Science? That's what he looked like. He was fucking Chet, not the Chet GPT that I'm talking about, but what was his name? Paxton? Bill Paxton, when he got turned into a big old fucking blob. That's what he ended up looking like. And he ended up passing away. I don't want to say good, because it's never, good when you say something like that. But, he stepped on and did so many things. We had people that were going to help him. We had support. He had support, and he just shit it down the drain, whatever. So he passed away. And I was like going, hey, babe. Yes. You remember Doc came over the house a couple times? Yeah. Well, he's dead. Really? What happened? Cancer or something. And there's some veterans on the Facebook that was like, I remember this and I remember that, and he told me all. And yeah, fuck you guys. He's gone. He's passed away, and that was my experience towards the end of his life. That was what I have to say about that. And I'm pissed off at you guys too. Oh yeah, I'm pissed off at you. I told you I'm going to let you all have it. So, and I'll tell you why I'm pissed off at you guys as well. So stick around. I'll be right back. I got a questionnaire for all of us to fill out verbally at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show. Actually, next segment. It's about my Atrium Health thing. And we can talk that's part of the teaser. It's a review. I want to give a review on that. So you'll hear my version of what happened when I was in the hospital. And I'm really surprised as far as like the phone calls I got. So as you guys know, my dad lives with us still. I say still. He's around. He's doing well. He's doing well. Cut his hair the other day. Holy Jesus. He's got so many dents and dings in his head from where they've removed skin cancer out of his, I told you his skull was exposed at one time or another. He does not have a round, perfectly sculpted head. It's like a cannonball, that's hit the wall at St. Augustine so many times. He's got dents and divots and stuff, so it's hard to cut his hair with clippers and make it nice and smooth. It's like surface of the moon, because he's had all these skin grafts and stuff taken off of his head because of the melanoma that he's had. So he is in the right-hand side, the east wing of the house. We have a split floor plan, and then on the west wing of the house, we have the middle of the house, we have the family room and kitchen's the common area. Then we have a dining room, and then the west wing of the house is our bedroom, our bathroom, the half bath, and then our entertainment room. On the other side of the house is, his room, the full bath, and then a guest room or two over there. So sometimes he leaves his door open, and you can hear whatever television show he's watching. The only reason why you can hear it is because he's literally like 18 inches from the screen. If you're watching this here in the studio, I've got a 32-inch monitor right here, so I can see everything nice and clear and stuff. He's got one of those too, but he's got one of those Vizio sound bars that's like 500 watts, and it's like right in front of him, and he's like, watching TV like this? And, it's like, Jones, get over here! Explosion. You can't help but hear it. It's so fucking loud. So sometimes his telephone goes off, and he's got it set up where it's got the old school ringer on it, like an old school telephone. Ring, ring. And he picks it up. And the other day I caught him trying to do a bad calls. Now, if you don't know what bad calls is, one of the shows, I do actually 4 shows. I didn't tell you about this one, but the bad calls, and you can find us on wherever you download podcasts and stuff. Just search Bad Calls Official. I think it is Bad Calls. You'll see the little frowny face guy. Essentially what it is I do, scam calls come in. I try to keep them on the phone as long as I can and try to say the most absurd possible things I can think of and try to sneak it underneath the thing. So there's like 500 and something episodes. We got a YouTube channel and yada, yada, yada. It's an ordeal in itself. It's funny. It's funny because I try to get away with a lot of stuff. And some of the episodes are anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes long, so you can burn through like 10 of them, like during your lunch hour, and then go back to work. I heard him trying to do that the other day. Hello? I can't hear. What country are you from? And he's laughing at himself. And well, you don't sound like an American. And then he says something like, no, I can't understand you, blah, blah. And then, and he hangs up, they hang up on him. And then I always hear him, I got him, those fuckers, I got him. So he does his own little version of the bad calls because he hears me doing it all the time. But his are like going, who are you? You fucking dumbass. I got him good, didn't I? Yeah, you did that. You did good. I'm going to mention this briefly because I noticed I personally noticed this just based on who I am and what's been going on here in the last week and a half, 3 weeks, let's say 30 days. Just over 30 days, because my birthday falls into that 30-day rotation here. Today is the day before Thanksgiving. Jesus Christ, get your holidays together. Day before Valentine's Day. And my birthday is January 6th, so it falls into 30 days. Get over it. It's a stretch. But I purposely, on my Facebook page, do not have my birthday on listed. So, because it's annoying. It honestly is annoying. You get all these, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. And they're just basically just like tapping. They're not even spelling out happy birthday. They're just like, oh, today's Travis's birthday. And they just kind of, whatever, tap, 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 tap. So I purposely removed that to avoid that whole fake birthday thing altogether. But on my birthday, because I said I wanted to make it a little bit special, a little bit more to see who's paying attention. It's all about this guy, right? 2 thumbs pointing at this guy. It's all about this guy. I said, the post that I said at 1:25 p.m. on January 6th, my mom gave birth to me, and every year since I was able to, whatever, she's called me at 1:25 on my birthday to say, whatever. And there's a scene from City Slickers or something like that. And I posted that up there. I said, basically, the whole thing was, do you guys know what time you were born? Is there an actual, I know that at 1:25 on January 6th, I was born. So I just kind of posted that message, out there saying, hey, look, I was born on 1:25 and, So I get like maybe 6. Oh my God, it's how did I not know it was your birthday? I missed your birthday, whatever. Happy birthday, happy birthday. And it's a good close 6 friends of mine that I correspond with on Facebook regularly. That was it. I was like, all right, cool. Took the post down. I didn't want to, to regurgitate. When it hit, the next day, I said, just take it down. I don't need any more sympathy. On This Is 50 Facebook page, because I talked about the ER room, going to the ER room and stuff, and so I had to post some pictures on the This Is 50 Facebook page, whatever, just to show, hey, look, this is leading into, I'm trying to drive traffic to the podcast and stuff. So there's a picture of me just sitting on the ER bed, just me sitting there, and hey, I'm in the emergency room. This happened the next day, posted and everything. And I got, I don't want to say hundreds, but more than the 6 people that said happy birthday. So I kind of sat there and I go, isn't this weird how we celebrate people being on the edge of death rather than celebrating someone's life? Happy birthday. They get enough happy birthdays. I'm not saying happy birthday to them. Hey, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm in the emergency room. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Oh, hearts and prayers and thoughts and thank yous and then blah, 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 blah. Now, I appreciate every single one of them, except for one person. Botox lady. God, Jesus. You look like you're kissing glass, lady. And I do. I responded to every single one of them. Saying, thank you very much. Everything's cool. It was just kind of a little scare. Everything's good. Blah, 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 blah. And, those people that I responded to, they know who they are. And they said whatever. But it was just weird that I was like going, we'll attach ourselves to something that is on the edge or going to be dead. R.I.P. Vanderbeek. Rather than celebrate someone else's life and accomplishment further on in life. Is that how we are as humans? That we attach ourselves to that? Hey, you know what? It's, let's say Chuck Norris's birthday. Happy birthday, Chuck Norris. Happy birthday. Or if Chuck Norris is in bed or in the ER room, oh my God, Chuck Norris is on the edge of dying. Oh my God, you're going to, all the posts come in and all that stuff. Not rest in peace, but, hope, hearts and prayers, thoughts and thank yous, and all the other stuff. Birthdays, not so much. It's just, I just found it weird that I was in that situation where I was like, I got more people responding to me almost dying, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, than me actually surviving another year. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. So I got a phone call from the hospital, from Atrium, and they sent me a recording. We're going to do it together. It'll be fun. This will be a first for me because normally I don't have outside material that comes in on the show or, is involved with the show. I don't want to make it too commercial and stuff, but I will play this audio and we'll dive into it together. Oh, excuse me. I had a burpees. So stick around. I'll be right back. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate anyone who gives me any attention at all, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be for this podcast or any other podcast that I do. I really do. I appreciate each and every one of you as far as giving me attention or giving me the time of day, allowing you to enjoy the show and all the other shows that I do here. So I don't want to say that I'm ungrateful. I'm not ungrateful. I do appreciate you. In my vision, I was like, it's just kind of weird. It's an observation more than whatever I said before. So I got a phone call the other day. One of the things that I said to my wife as we're leaving I was discharged from that sounds gross. I was released from the emergency room, and, they gave me like 12 tablets of a enhancing type drug that helps my busprin. Like if I take it and then like an hour or two later, I'm like, I still have anxiety. I'll take this and it kind of compounds it and kind of stacks it and shoots it through my system. I don't know what it does. I haven't taken it yet. I haven't needed to taken it. But that's what they gave me. So we're driving out. We're going to Chick-fil-A, and I told my wife, I'm like going, hey, I need to tell my doctor, my new doctor that I'm going to see on March, whatever. I'm going to see them. That I got on this new medication, just in case I run out. No, you don't have to tell him. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have to tell him? She's like, the atrium thing, while we were sitting in the emergency room, my wife's on her phone, going through everything, going through all my files and stuff through the Atrium healthcare system. She's like, I already see where you checked in here in the emergency room. She's like, I saw all this while you were getting everything done. She's like, that's how fast they were. Once I made the $250 deposit payment or deductible or whatever, she's like, within 2-3 minutes, she's like, I saw it on your file. $250 whatever deposit, copay, whatever it is. Who knows what the end bill is going to be, but still. She said, I saw it right away. She's like, I literally, while you were getting like your blood pressure and they were doing everything to you, I was watching it on my phone and watching it pop up as you were getting it done within like minutes. I said, for real? She's like, yeah. I said, that's goddamn impressive. Because I'm alive. No, she's like, yeah, everything's connected. Now, I remember growing up back in the day, you would physically have to, can I get them all my files? All right, well, you have to come back next Tuesday because we have to print them all out. And we're all out of toner, or we're all out of ink, or we're all out of dot matrix paper, whatever, they printed it out on. And then we have to call in and we have to go through the files and get all that stuff. I remember back in the day how much of a pain in the ass it was to switch doctors or switch hospitals or switch anything. Even your dentist's office. Oh, can you send the x-rays over? Well, it'll take 2 weeks to get there, that type deal. But now everything with modern technology, holy crap, says the guy yelling at the yard. She's like, I saw everything automatically, and because of the Atrium healthcare system here in North Carolina, she's like, I see your new doctor. His name's, Charles Muckenberg. And I go, oh, really? I got a guy doctor this time? She's like, yeah. I said, well, goddamn. So he's got all that information. She's like, you don't need to do anything. They'll have all that information. I said, well, hot damn. Isn't that something? I sit back in my chair because my wife's driving. I'm like, take care of me. I was in the ER. So the next day, I get a phone call. Brrr. No, I got a regular ringtone. Whatever the T-Mobile is. Hi, may I speak to Travis Holmes, please? This is him. Hi, this is Clinice over at Dr. Schluckenberg's office, whatever I told you his name was. I said, yeah. She's like, I noticed that you were in the ER room this past weekend. Yes, yeah, because she called me on Monday. I said, yeah, I was. is everything okay? I said, yeah. I said, everything. She's like, we've noticed that you put in a request for a doctor's or a visit, just your annual physical, on March 15th or something like that. I said, yeah. She's like, do we need to get you in before then? Check everything out. I'm like, at the time, I was like, oh, yeah, everything's fine. I'm good. She's like, yeah, I see on your records and all that stuff. She's like, all right, I just want to make sure that we didn't need to bring you in, sooner and stuff, for your physical or take care of anything. I said, no, we can address all this when I come in the middle of March or the end of March. She's like, okay, I just want to check on you. Everything okay? And I see that they prescribed you, triptopatopatone. I said, yeah. Will you be needing any more of that? I said, I don't know yet. I said, it's Monday. I haven't even taken one yet. Everything's good. I said, I will let you know. Well, if you need anything, Mr. Holmes, just let us know. Blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, fine, cool. Hung up the phone. I go, I guess everything really is connected together. Because she was so worried. Because I don't know if you remember, I don't know if I said this to you, but we'll go through this journey together. 2 weeks prior to me going in the ER room, I had to schedule, hey, I need to schedule, I don't see anything on my schedule or my calendar as far as a annual physical or anything like that. And, you can't get it until after a year's gone by past your last one. Okay, when was the last one? All right, March 15th. All right, so can I have it after March 15th? Yes, you can have it. Or your insurance won't cover it, is what she told me. So I have to wait a year and a day before I can have my physical or whatever, just annual checkup, or my insurance won't cover it. But now I went to the emergency room 2 weeks later, and she's freaking out. Are you sure you're okay, Mr. Holmes? Yes. Kenesha, I'm fine. Okay, well, just let us know. As soon as I hang up the phone, not even 3 or 4 hours later, I get this. This is where it gets interesting. I get this right here. You ready?
Union emergency room. Calling about your recent visit. If this is Travis, press 1.
Dude.
If not, press 2. If we have reached the incorrect, great. We would appreciate feedback about your recent visit to Atrium Health Union Emergency Room on February 6th. There are only a few brief questions.
Okay.
And your responses will help us to improve the quality of care that we provide.
Okay.
We value all feedback and may share patient comments anonymously online. Let's get started.
Let's get
Did
started.
the care providers explain things in a way you could understand? For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
I like the somewhat. Yeah, they explained it somewhat to me, right? So, did they explain everything to me? I said, yeah, for the most part, they did.
For yes, mostly,
There you go.
press 3. Did the care providers listen carefully to you? For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
Did they listen carefully to me? Yeah, they did.
For yes, mostly, press 3. For yes, definitely, press 4. Were areas around you clean? For no, press 1.
Was it clean around me, is what she said.
For yes, somewhat, press 2. For yes, mostly, press 3. For yes, definitely, press 4.
4.
Did nurses treat you with courtesy and respect? For no, press 1.
You didn't hear that in the background, did you? You can tell exactly what's going on while I'm listening to this. You can rewind if you want to listen to that again. So here we go.
For yes, somewhat, press 2. For yes, mostly, press 3. For yes, definitely, press 4.
Yeah.
Did you have confidence and trust in the nurses treating you?
Trust and confidence in the nurse, not the doctor, the nurse treating me. Now, if you listen to last week's show, what do you think my answer was?
For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
2.
For yes, did you have enough input or say in your care? For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
It gets me that no, yes, somewhat, no, somewhat.
For yes, mostly, press 3. Was there good communication between the different doctors and nurses?
Yeah.
For no, press 1.
Yeah.
For yes, somewhat, press 2. Did nurses listen carefully to you?
Oh, the only reason why I hit 2, yes, somewhat, is because when the doctor came back in, I said, did the nurse tell you what happened to me when they were trying to do the PICC line? She's like, no. And I go, well, that's not a good sign. So they get a 2 on that one.
For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2. For yes, mostly, press 3. For yes, definitely, press... Did nurses explain things in a way you could understand?
Nurses.
For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
No.
Were you comfortable talking with nurses about your worries or concerns? For no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
Dude.
For yes, mostly, press 3. For yes, definitely, press 4.
Okay, I
Were
said
the
yes.
different doctors and nurses consistent with each other in providing information about your care?
Were they
For
consistent?
no, press 1. For yes, somewhat, press 2.
2.
For yes, for this question, please listen very carefully.
Okay.
As you will be using a scale from 0 to 10, and it is very important that we get an accurate response from you.
This is very important. Scale of 0 to 10. We need an accurate response. Let's find out what the question is.
Now, using the keypad and pressing any number from 0 to 10, where 0 is not at all likely and 10 is extremely likely, how likely would you be to recommend this facility to your family and friends? If you would like to rate this facility a 10, enter 1, then 0 on
Let's see what buttons I hit.
your keypad.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a that. You entered a 7. If this is correct,
7. I gave him a
press 1.
7.
If not, press 2. What else would you like to say about your experience? If you would like to leave feedback, please press 1 now.
No.
If not, press 2.
2.
Thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
completes today's survey. Your participation in these surveys enable us to continually improve the care provided to our patients. If you do not want to receive these types of calls in the future, please press 1 now.
That's it. There you go. So that's the phone call I got after the actual, my doctor's whatever called me and said, are you sure you don't want to come in? How did we do? Did you like your nurse? Did you like your doctor? Did you do this? And I answered honestly, because I told you I felt uncomfortable with the nurse that was taking care of me, chewing gum underneath his mask. Total bra, dude. So, but it was amazing that I've never been through that before. Now, granted, I've never been through what I went through before, but still, nonetheless, they were on top of it. So we'll see. Everything's going good for me. I got a new, if you watch us over on the Facebook page, This is 50 Facebook. I do post things and images. Like I said, the ER, me sitting in the ER, and then I made a spoof of me dead on the table. I know that's very dark humor and stuff. I did get a blood, what is that? Blood test, not a blood test, blood pressure thing, brand new one. I posted it the other night. I'm good. That's been the lowest it's been for a very, very long time. My running's doing good. It's helping me. I'm eating a lot better. I'm not eating, calzones and pizzas during the weekend and stuff. We don't have a whole lot of fast food, so fast food's not an issue. It's just making better choices with food and stuff. A lot of broccoli, a lot of chicken, a lot of salads and stuff, a lot of oils. Just trying to stay away from mayonnaise and stuff. So I hope this has helped all you guys as well that have been listening to the show. We appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you for listening to me work all this stuff out. I'll talk to you later. Okay. See you. Bye. Bye. See you later. Thanks, guys. Take care.